I just wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been on my mind today, which is the importance of leaning back into what inspired you from when you were a kid from the start, because of the video that I posted yesterday. And I know that, on YouTube, the whole idea is for every single video to be its own video, and for you to not have to have context. But because I'm posting a video every day, I wanted to just be able to have more of a relationship with you, my viewers, especially those of you who are coming back every day. I really, really appreciate you guys a lot. And there's probably going to be a handful of these videos that I archive at the end of the 90 days. Whether or not I'm going to do that, I'm not really sure, but I just want to have that mindset so I can take the opportunity to just speak to you guys directly and ask you guys first, what did you feel on my video yesterday? Like, what were your thoughts? What were your feelings? How did it come off? Because I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned this year is if you're not making something with your heart and only with your mind, then it's not going to click, no matter how good it is. But on the flip side, the video that I made yesterday was made purely with my heart and not at all with my mind. I just led with what I was inspired by, and I feel like I've really been lacking inspiration lately. So, I took a trip with my dad and my brother last weekend, and when I was younger, when I got into photo and video, what inspired me was music. That's what made me want to get into photo and video. And then further, when Sam Kolder came out with his My Year 2016, it was just a compilation of videos on top of a really good song that I had already known from one of my favorite artists, Illenium. So I was thinking a lot about that and thinking about how can I tap into that inspiration again, and how can I bring my heart back into the content that I'm creating. Because, this is also kind of a side note, and I don't want it to be political whatsoever, but I don't know if you guys have seen much about Palantir. They are a data company who have worked with the US government and various other big companies who they essentially, since, they were like not profitable for like 17 years. And now I think they're doing hundreds of, if I'm not wrong, I think like $300 billion. So obviously a really massive company. And this might sound like it might not connect, but the reason I bring that up is because, to my understanding, with the little research that I've done, I was going to invest in the stocks in Palantir, and I had heard that it was kind of controversial. And so I ethically. And so I wanted to make sure, I've never really had this, where I've wanted to make sure that the stock I was going to invest in was ethical, but I felt like I needed to with Palantir because of just what I had seen around it. And so I did a little bit of research, and something that I found is that every time that you've signed up on, like a music app, on a app that, helps you with fitness, a lot of these apps that are a lot smaller, a lot of the reason and a lot of the way that they've made their money is through selling data, and through selling data to companies like Palantir. And this article that I was reading was going to, I guess really the whole point of it was to say that what we've been doing, what we've been signing, has been giving away our rights and been giving away our data and giving them the ability to access that and to share it and to sell it and to do all those things. And essentially, like, the whole thing around Palantir, the whole thing that I read about is that their whole goal is to try to predict human behavior, and specifically try to predict your behavior. So for big hedge funds, or in other words, people with a lot of money who are trying to make big business moves and make a lot of money from business, if they pay Palantir for this data, then they have a very good idea of whether or not the product or the idea that they're going to come out with is actually going to work, because they know exactly how you think and how I think and how everyone else thinks who's hopped on these apps. Really probably only being like our grandparents who haven't downloaded these apps are the only people who have survived this, this whole Palantir thing. And so I don't want to say this to scare you, but it just got me thinking. It's a very interesting way to segment into like what I'm actually trying to say, which is that the content that we're consuming and the things that we think we believe or the things that we think we like might not actually be the things that we would have liked had we not been on the platforms. They might be placing these things in front of us, knowing that we like them enough and making us think that is what we like the most. And so when I'm talking about, to wrap it full circle, when I'm talking about diving into what inspired you from when you were young, not to say that inspiration changes and not to say that you don't change as you grow, but you can trust the inspiration that you received when you were, I guess I should say like 10 years ago. Whatever inspired you 10 years ago there's a reason for that. There was like a connection that thing had with you. And that's why I created the video that I did yesterday, because I was initially just inspired by music and I wanted to create visuals to go along with that music. I heard over this trip this song that was a vibe that inspired me, that made me feel peace and made me take a step back and relax for the first time in a couple of months. And so I wanted to share that feeling. And so I created visuals, put them together with that song, and I shared it with you guys. Obviously, it was not optimized to do really well, so it probably won't. But for those of you who have seen it or who do see it, I hope that it came across the way that it felt when I was editing it, because it felt special and it felt calm and it felt like real, I guess. I know with the whole Palantir side quest I just talked about, you might be kind of confused. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is right now and in 5 years and in 10 years and in our future, we don't really know if what we're seeing is what we're choosing to see or if it's being chosen for us. But if we lean into how we actually feel and try to work on focusing on that feeling, that's probably where our best work is going to come. And that's the type of stuff that we should probably work on so we can give that room to develop. And if we do, then we might be the ones that have the ability to speak to people in 5 or 10 years. When everyone else has things placed in front of them, we can be the ones who are placing things in front of other people. And yeah, I mean, to me, this makes sense. And so I feel like the way that I described it might not be making sense, but I'm really, really curious to see if that made any type of sense whatsoever. So I'm going to post this video, and if you see this, if you have anything that you learned from this or anything that you want to talk about or any insights, please let me know. This is like a very, very early idea. This is a very early topic, and it probably won't even be something that picks up traction for, and I'm not saying this video, I mean even the idea in general, probably won't pick up much traction for a while, for a couple of years, once we hear a lot more about Palantir. Ultimately, I just want to say that I didn't invest in their stock. Not that that matters one way or another. If you did, then I'm not against you, but I just don't really know what they're doing. And it's kind of scary to imagine that the people like us, the creators, the people who are posting about ourselves, where people can take our videos and train AI on those things and collect our voices and all of those things. It's honestly kind of a scary world that we're living in. And I hope that in that scary world that I can be a light and that we can be a light if you're a creator as well, or if you have something to say. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do that and how to articulate that. So those are my thoughts tonight. I just wanted to share that with you, have a conversation with those of you who are coming back every single day. And yeah, let's just talk about it. Even if it's like, just one or two of you, if you're watching this and you just feel anything, just comment down below and let me know what you kind of picked up from this so we can chat a little bit more about it. Because I think it's a really, really interesting topic. And I think that if we play our cards right now, we might have the opportunity to really keep something special and not lose everything to the world that is developing. And I do want to say, I'm not at all against this idea of the world moving forward. I know that the world is always progressing. Jobs are always going out and new jobs are always coming in. There's always going to be work for all of us to do, and I'm not worried about that. In fact, if you've heard of Clifton Strengths, it's a test that you take that helps you figure out your 5 biggest strengths. And my number 1 strength is called futuristic. And so if anyone can get excited about the future, it definitely is me. But I think that really speaks to how much there is to think about when it comes to everything that's going on in the world with AI and with jobs and, with creation and inspiration and everything. I mean, the world is just in a weird spot right now. So I just wanted to share that. Again, really interested in hearing your thoughts. If you didn't get a chance to check out yesterday's video, check it out right here to just get a little bit more of an idea of what I'm talking about. And if you have been feeling a little bit overwhelmed, hopefully this video is somewhat helpful for you and helps you slow down the way that it helped me slow down. Either way, subscribe. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow.